Welcome to the Cross the Line podcast. My name is Carlos Smith, and today's episode is sponsored by KB's Car Care on 321 North Main Street in Jonesville, South Carolina. They offer hand car wash, vacuum, and clean interior. Full detail is also available. While you wait on your vehicle, customer seating is available as well as a dining area. They're open from Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so make sure you stop by. Today's episode is also sponsored by Floor Covers International, 1460 Emmett Road in Welford, South Carolina. And also this episode is sponsored by Charlene's Home Cooking on 1136 East Blackstock Road in Moore, South Carolina. Charlene's Home Cooking is a family restaurant that cooks like grandma with fresh veggies and meats cooked to order. You can do a meat with 2 sides, a meat with 3 sides, or a veggie plate along with sweet tea, Kool-Aid, and lemonade. Cakes, pies, and cobbler are also available for dessert. She wants you to feel at home anytime you visit, so stop by Monday, Thursday, and Saturday from 11 to 6, and Friday and Sunday from 11 to 7. Everything is fresh and from the heart, and she would love for you to visit. So thank you everyone for sponsoring this episode of the Cross the Line podcast as we are on our 2021 self-investment tour. We have another very special guest with us today. As we came from Miami, now we're here in McDonough, Georgia. We have the entrepreneur, founder of SmoothnGroove, Mr. Keon Davis. How you doing?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I did a little bit of research. So for me, I do research, but I try not to dive too much into it because I don't want to know everything about it. Like, I want this to be an experience for me as well. But
yeah, most definitely.
Just listening to your story and watching it and doing some research, man, is very inspiring. Like, I love to see how you got to where you are now, and it's just very inspiring. So I know the people watching this, they're really going to enjoy this episode. But just kind of starting out, SmoothnGroove, can you tell them a little bit about how long have you actually been in business?
Cool. So I've been in business with this company. It'll be 10 years this year. Mm-hmm. September the 12th, 2011, when I started. Mm-hmm. Right. That's when I sold my first smoothie. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And what's the meaning behind the name? I like the name SmoothnGroove. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about how you came up with the name?
So for me, man, it was a little different. So like I always loved the California raisins, right? Growing up, I used to love the California raisins. You know, heard it from the grapevine, that whole type of deal. I loved the vibe they had, the energy they brought, you know, the whole nine. And so I knew once I started my company, I wanted like a modern day version of that. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at my logo, you'll see like the fruit with the Ray-Bans on, with the white gloves, you know what I'm saying, with the whole swag. And so when I did that, I knew I wanted to do a smooth name, right? I didn't want anything like Smoothie King or anything like that. I wanted something that was going to have not only a smoothie meaning, but something that had a little swag to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So when I did that, it was like SmoothnGroove, right? Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of how we came up with the concept. And groove was the word like, it was like the word swag back in the day. Right. You know what I mean? Like at the time, it was like, hey, swag, lit, all that word. It was groove back then, right? Mm-hmm. So I knew that I wanted to kind of embrace that and use that as, you know, my platform. That way, it can always be timeless. You know
Absolutely.
What I'm saying?
So how did you actually get into the smoothie business? Like, of all businesses that you could have dove into, like, what made you say, I want to dive into the smoothie business?
Bro, to be honest, it was like, I was a party guy in college. Mm-hmm. In college, I threw all the parties. I did all the events. You know what I mean? I was that guy. I was the guy that was going to be at the bar, that was going to make sure everybody had a drink. You know, that type of deal. Excuse me. And so, but when I was selling cars, me and one of my friends was talking about how much excess money we spent, right? And so he was working for, I think it was Kraft. And, you know, we were both athletes coming out of school, first to go to college. He got a salary job. I'm making good money selling cars, that type of deal. And he was like, yeah, bro, you know, I told him, I was like, bro, I spent like $2,000 in the bar this past week. You know what I'm saying? Just making it rain. You know what I'm saying? Idiot, right? And he was like, bro, I got you beat. He said, bro, I spent $2,000 last month in the gym. And I was like, what? Like, bro, how you spend $2,000 in the gym, right? I'm like, you play football with me. You know, I know you ain't paying for no personal training. I know you know how to work out, you know, type of deal. He was like, nah. He said, it's a dude in there that has a smoothie bar. You know, he was like, he sells smoothies, wraps, pre-workouts, post-workouts, salads, everything. Like, he was like, bro, I spend probably $40, $50 with him every day. You know, I was like, man, that's a good idea. You know what I'm saying? And so I worked out at a gym that had a location for something like that, but they weren't utilizing it. So I'm like, damn, I can do that. You know, that's something I can do. And so that was the initial idea of, like, I'm going to do something in the smoothie space. Mm-hmm.
So straight out of college, you went straight to selling cars? Mm-hmm. Or the first job?
So I was in college. So I had an opportunity to work for Regions Bank. Mm-hmm. Right, fresh out of college, and so I was in their MA program where they take out of 1,500 people, they take 5 applicants, right? They put them in a program. You go through 3 months of training, and you'll have your own bank.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I was in the MA program, and I was one of the 5 that they picked. But the problem was I didn't graduate on time. I didn't take a freshman English course.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then they only you know, I went to Tuskegee, so they only offer that class in the spring. You can't even take it over the summer. You can't take it in the fall. I had to wait a whole another year, you know, to take my second part of English, and I lost my job. I lost the opportunity. I was devastated. You know what I'm saying? I was hurt, and so when that happened, I had to find something to do during that time. All my other classes was done. I was supposed to graduate, and so I kind of stayed around the area. I was the manager at Foot Locker. I was still cutting hair. You know, I was just hustling at the time, and that's how I landed on selling cars.
So as a former athlete, I like to ask athletes that we've had in the past that come on, what would you say was that skill or something that you learned from like playing sports that transitioned to life for you?
Man, that's a great question. And I think the biggest thing is, like, my coach used to say this all the time, man, and I never really understood it until, like you said, until I got out in the world, right? He used to say that dog ain't gonna hunt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, no matter what we was doing, if we was in the gym, if we was working out, and we didn't have enough weight on the bar, hey, bro, that dog ain't gonna hunt. You know what I'm saying?
Right, absolutely.
If we on the field and we not giving it our all, right, that dog ain't gonna hunt. You know, and so for the longest time, I never really understood what that meant. I knew that we wasn't doing good enough, but I didn't really dig deep into that, right? And so now, after I stopped playing, I started to realize, bro, that it's a lot of people out here that don't have that dog in them.
It's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
fact.
your advantage, to have that dog in you. You know, and not even to have it in you, but letting that dog hunt. You know, and really pushing yourself to the max, pushing yourself to the limit that other people won't push themselves to. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I think that's one of the things that, like, really embraced and empowered me to push the envelope forward, right? Not only that, but also being able to struggle, right? Being able to think about going through camp, think about wanting to quit every day in camp, right?
Hot,
sweating, hungry, thirsty, tired, hurting, head hurt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all of those emotions that you have in that one moment where you just feel like you want to quit every single day. But then you realize you push your body to the max. You rest, right? And you push your body to the max again. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing in life. It's like, bro, I can push myself to the max that I know a lot of people have never felt. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I can get past certain points that I know people can't get past. So all I got to do is continue to stay the course, rest, get up and do it again. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Take me back a little bit just before going to college. Like, where are you originally from, and like, how was life growing up where you were growing up?
So I'm from Anderson, Indiana.
Okay.
Right? It's a small town outside of Indianapolis, about 30 minutes. I'm the oldest of 4 boys. You know, mom had me at 15. You know, we pretty much grew up together, you know, type situation. I had 3 little brothers up under me. I was an athlete. You know, I was always an athlete. My mom was in the streets. I grew up in the streets, right? But I was the one that they would send home, right? I would be around everything, and before something jumped off, they would send me home. Like, bro, go home, bro. Right. You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. You're like, go. You know what I mean? Type of
guy,
deal.
yeah.
And so that was the thing that I think helped me not only to have a level of street smarts, right? Not only to have a level of understanding of, you know, discernment, right? You know what I'm saying? Or different things to sense danger, that type of deal. But also it gave me the ability to learn numbers. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that, like, it's only one universal language. You know what I'm saying? It's only one universal language. That's numbers, right? Who know numbers the best?
Yeah.
The streets.
Did you grow up, you know, saying being the oldest and your mom was in the streets, being the oldest of 4 children, did you feel like, man, feel like it was like pressure for you, like, man, I gotta, you know, at least make it to the pros or make something out of myself because I want to take care of my family?
Everybody,
like, did you feel like that was part of the pressure on you?
And it was, I think it was pressure on me, but it was my own pressure. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't pressure that somebody put on me themselves. I think for me, it was more or less of like, hey, I know that I got to be the one to make it. You know what I'm saying? I got to be the one that changes the dynamic of my family, right? So they always tell you all the time, like, if you know better, you'll do better. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I knew better. I felt better. I felt different. You know, I understood different. I seen different. And so it was up to me to make that transition to actually being the one to change the game, right? So I tell people all the time, my goal in life, bro, is to uproot my family's tree, right, and put it in better soil. You know what I'm saying? So it'll bear better fruit, you know?
What I like about your story as well is I respect the fact that despite your circumstances, you didn't let that define you. Like, you didn't say, hey, my mom is out here, I'm the oldest, I got to make something happen. Like, man, I just got to do what I got to do, whether it's hustling or anything, just to take care of my family. Like, you didn't let that define you. But was there anybody else around you growing up did you see as, like, that kind of even at the most, like, spark entrepreneurship, or did you see it from anywhere? Was it anybody, family or friends or close?
I didn't really know what entrepreneurship was. You know what I'm saying? But I know my granddad was like he was my guy. You know what I'm saying? He was the guy that you know, before anything, he was the one that my biggest fan, right? He was my biggest critic, my biggest fan, my biggest teacher. You know, anything that you can think of that would be an influence to a male figure, he was that. You know, and so for me, I seen him sit at the kitchen table, right, and call phone numbers out of his Atlas. He used to love the Atlas. He used to drive tour buses. He had a tour bus company.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So he used to plan riverboat trips. You know, take people to the casinos and that type of deal. And so for me, I would always be on the bus selling drinks, selling pool tabs. You know what I mean? Just in there, just being a part of that. But I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I was with Papa.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Papa going on the boat, I'm going on the
right.
boat. You know, he got people, I need to sell these. I know they're $1 a piece. Let me get you 5 of them. You know, type of deal. So that was initially like kind of the deal, but it wasn't anything that I thought of long term. I was into sports. Right. You know, that was my thing. So that was kind of the deal. But like as I was a kid, I used to sell my crayons and my color pencils and pencils and stuff like that because I knew I wasn't gonna get them back. So I'm like, bro, I'm letting you borrow it. I'm not gonna get it back. When I get home, my mom gonna whoop me because I ain't got my crayons and color pencils. Like, something gotta shake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? At least I gotta take my mama something back. Like, oh, look, I know I ain't got it, but I can go buy my own again. You know what I'm saying? So that was the initiation to that and understanding that line of it. But as far as just having that specific, you know, role and specific understanding of entrepreneur, I didn't really have it.
And I'm kind of similar to that in ways where my uncle, well, he worked at a plant, but at the same time on weekends, like he would go cut grass. But we never used the word entrepreneur or anything. We just knew like Uncle Carl going to cut grass, and sometimes he would let me and my brother go with him. And we knew he had contracts to cut at different restaurants and stuff like that. And sometimes we'd go with him. He'd hand us a weed eater or something and just cut a little grass around the building or around somebody's house with it. But we never knew like as an entrepreneur. Right. Honestly, I didn't really start paying attention to entrepreneurship or using that word really until like college or towards the end of college, because I just knew just work for somebody else. Like that's all I knew. So I didn't really pay attention until then, but I always knew like my uncle had a business and you know he made good money. Like we always knew Christmas time or our birthdays he gonna hook us up because
the best gift.
He got it. Yeah, he had the deep pockets, man. But for you said when you saw that your buddy was in the gym, you said that's when you knew, you know, okay, I'm gonna do the smoothies as well. So how was the early stages of like starting to make your smoothies and making that transition?
So it was, for me, I'm a researcher, and I didn't even know I was a researcher, you know, until like I'll say I'm a self-proclaimed researcher, right? And at the time I was reading a book called The Alchemist. You know, everybody know that book. That's the very first book that I've ever read in my life, cover to cover.
Wow.
And I did it twice. You know what I'm saying? And in the book, it gave me so much life, and it made so much sense to me. You know what I mean? Of what I was feeling already. And so from there, it was like, well, I got to do something. You know, I got to do something. And so my wife's dad had a smoothie bar in Baton Rouge for a while. And so I kind of got some recipes and stuff from him, but it was like different. You know, it was like, I don't have mango juice. I don't know how to make mango juice. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know what guava juice is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I just started doing my own research and finding out what works well together. I would taste it, and I bought a blender, and I just started buying fruit, and I just started mixing stuff. Like, oh, that go good together. Like, oh, I can cut that with that. Like, oh, I don't really like, because I never liked protein. I never liked protein shakes, none of that stuff. But I always had to find a way to drink it, so I had to find a way to cut it.
Right.
You know, so I would put lime in it. I would put lemons in it. I would, you know, do different things, so I didn't have that taste. And so once I got into this space, it was like, oh, it was easy. Like, let me just mix these things and see how well they go together. And so I just progressed over the time to just get better and being able to adapt and change with the time and the phases and, you know, what people say they wanted. You know what I mean? And so once I started doing that, it was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. But my main thing, bro, was like, it wasn't the smoothies. It was the experience, right? It was the experience. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, I'm not Smoothie King and Jamba Juice, all them people, they're not my competitors at all. We just sell the same product. You know what I'm saying? My number one competitor is Disney World. You know, and so what I mean by that is that, like, I don't sell smoothies. I sell an experience.
Sell an experience.
You know what I mean?
Something that people will remember and want to always come back. Like, man, I went to SmoothnGroove and had the best time.
I got a book that I'm about to drop. Once I get everything open, I'm really big into customer service, right? So I got a book dealing with customer service. So it's called "Is It the Taste or the Feel?" Right? The $1 Million Hack to Impeccable Customer Service. You know, and so my thing is, in the book, I talk about the experience, right? So 73% of the world drink coffee not because how it tastes, it's because how they make it feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think about everything that we do in life is based on feeling.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? It's not the taste, right? You go to Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A does not have the best chicken sandwich, chicken nothing, chicken anything, right? They don't have the best tasting chicken.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? They got the best feeling. They produce the best feeling to you. That's why you want to go there every day.
Yep. When you say Chick-fil-A, my pleasure.
You know what I'm saying?
It had me thinking sometimes, man, why are these people so nice to me all the time?
You
like,
know, but it makes you feel a certain
it makes you
type
feel
of way,
good, yeah.
Right? So that's why I tell people all the time, it's not the smoothie. It's only a certain amount of ways you can make smoothies. Everybody know how to make a smoothie.
And now that you say that, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really pay that much attention to it. But like as I get older, and I'm not saying like I'm 29, but customer service is like important now, man. Like it's like, man, like if somebody make you go in different businesses and they don't make you feel good, you like, man, even if the food is good, like, man, the customer service is terrible.
I ain't going back.
I'm not going back.
So then think about it like this. So think about it from a standpoint of you having great customer service and a great product, right? I know my product is good because I put the research in the work on my product. My focus is my customer service. That's the everyday thing. That's the thing that's forever changing, right? So if I can focus on my customer service and show my customers that I appreciate them. That's why if you look on these walls, you see my customers all over the place. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not about me, it's about them.
Absolutely.
Right? It's the feeling that I'm giving them. So now when they see their face in the store, it's like, dang, this is my store. Now what they gonna do? They gonna sell a product for you. You know, it make your workload easy.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell mom, I'm gonna tell grandma, I'm gonna tell everybody in my family, man, you gotta not only the smoothie good, but man, they gonna treat you like family. You gonna feel good about it. That's what we had when we were down in Miami. Where we actually had to shoot the interview up in Fort Lauderdale, and David Castro on Dungeon Ford. He was, for him, like you were saying, it's about the people. Yeah. So he was like he could easily, you know, put his he calls them crowns, put his crowns in like different stores like a Target or a Walmart, but he's so connected to the people that that's why he stays on social media and, you know, asking like,
you talking about Keys?
No, David Castro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, David Castro. He makes hats called Dungeon Ford. It's down in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
But he said he's so connected with the people that way that he's not really worried about, you know, going in like a store, which he can, but it's like he's so connected with people this way that it's like, man, why even do that when you got this loyal fan base and they gonna spread the word because of how you treat them and make them feel like family. Why rush and go like mainstream, like corporate or whatever, and then, you know, then those times then you don't have as much control over it as when you go, you know, move to that level.
Of course, yeah, it's a thing, bro. Like when you think about it, man, when you tap in with your people will ride with you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Your people will ride with you regardless if you open, close, something happened. You know what I'm saying? I've had customers that see me on the side of the road. I might have been in my truck and something may not have been strapped down in the truck, and I done pulled over inside the road to strap something down, and then they pulling over like, hey, you good? You know what I'm saying?
They gonna do,
just because they see the truck and they know that is good people. So like, one of the things that I try to get people to understand, one of my biggest flexes, bro, in my entire life, bro, is that one of the things that I went to Tuskegee, right? My twin brothers go to Tuskegee right now, right? So when I was at Tuskegee, I told you I was the party guy, right? I took about, I think it was about 10 of them. I took about 10 guys under my wing, right? Took them under my wing, taught them the game, taught them who to talk to, you know, call everybody auntie, teach you how to get in the calf, you know, everything that I've learned, right? I'll teach it to them. Well, one of the things that I realized was that one of my little homie is my little brother, right? So I indirectly affected my little brother by showing love to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? By being my authentic self, my authentic person, and truly helping people and caring about people, it indirectly affected my little brothers, right?
It's powerful.
So then think about if I was a jerk, or I was somebody that ain't really care about folks, and I didn't do that, then my little brothers wouldn't be effective at all. You know what I'm saying? True. So that's what I tell people all the time, man. You gotta show love to people. Like, I heard somebody say this the other day, man. It was like, bro, you'll know the character of a man the way he treats a woman that he's not attracted to. You know what I'm saying?
It's powerful, yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, like that's big. You know, and so I think that the more that we understand the value of love, like true purity, like finding out who we are as individuals, you know, because I had 4 G's, bro, that I stand on, right, every single day, and it's what I did was to help me get rid of my ego, right? It was my 4 G's, and then my non-negotiables is what I do every single day. You know what I'm saying? And the first one is I show gratitude, right, for the little stuff. Like, I'm not talking about like for anything I've accomplished. It's like, bro, I'm glad I can wake up on my own.
That's a fact.
Right? I'm glad I got all my limbs work. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I'm grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? The second thing is I ground myself. You know, whether I meditate, whether I go outside and walk with my shoes off, whatever the case may be, whatever it is, I ground myself, right? The third G, and I think this is the most important G out of all of them, bro, is my grace, right? Not God-given grace, not any of that stuff. My grace that I give the world, right? My authentic self. You know what I'm saying? Removing the mask. Like, they always talk about the fingerprint. Like, we all got one fingerprint for a reason. We got to shine our light, right? Not dimming my light for nobody, not changing who I am for anybody, not trying to be like somebody else in spite of me or getting, like, none of that, bro. Like, my authentic self, like being my authentic self through and through and giving that to the world, right? Like Jay-Z say all the time, my presence is a present. You know what I'm saying? Believe that and actually believe and stand on that. You know what I'm saying? And then the last G is grind. Just always be doing something. Always be busy. Always be looking and striving to accomplish a goal. You know, and so those are the things that helped me to kind of get rid of my ego, but it also gave me focus and it gave me the ability to be my authentic self.
My teacher, my professor, I wish I had spent more time with him. It was my final semester at Upstate, USC Upstate. I remember he used to have these check marks on the door. And he said, and when we go in and sit down, he said, you see that, those check marks? He's like, that means check your ego at the door. He used to always tell us that it's not about you. It's never about you. It's about other people and doing the job and getting things done.
Yeah.
And like you also said about just gratitude, just being thankful for a lot of things. And what people don't know, like I actually, about a week and a half ago, I actually hurt my back at work. And it still bothers me now, but the thing is, like I had this thing I've been doing since February where I just write down everything that I'm thankful for. And it's like not even about money or anything. But now it made me really realize when people say, when sometimes we get mad at, sometimes you see people criticizing wealthy people, like, man, you got all this going on, you rich, you got all this money, and you still complaining, like. And even when it comes to their health, like when wealthy people sometimes will say things like, man, I'll give all this money away if I can have my health and peace of mind. Yeah. So man, when I hurt my back, that's one of the things I was like, man, I'm grateful and thankful for everything. Man, I can understand now how they say, man, health, taking care of yourself, and that peace of mind is everything.
Bro, I think who was this? Big Sean. He said, bro, if it costs you your peace of mind, it's too expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that resonated with me so bad because, like, even in the entrepreneur space, you think about in the entrepreneur space, the level of like ability that you need to have to be able to move forward every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like the ability that you got to have, the things that the space you got to be in, because essentially to do these things, bro, you literally almost got to be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have a level of insanity, bro, to think that you can create something that's never been created. You know, and be okay with that. You know, and so, like, you think about people like Thomas Edison, right? That was involved in inventing light bulb. I ain't going to say he invented the joint, you know what I'm saying? But he was involved in inventing the joint. But in the midst of him talking about that, they admitted him to the crazy home 3 times.
They thought he was crazy, yeah.
Just for talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, bro, like, you really going to tell me because I have an idea that you've never heard of that you're going to put me in a crazy institution. You know what I mean?
Because they couldn't see it.
They can't fathom it. Yeah. But it ain't for them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's not for them. That's not something that they gave them. That's his grace. You know what I'm saying? So imagine him not shining his light because of what other people thought of him. You know what I mean?
That when you just said that, it just reminded me of one of my favorite people that I've interviewed. I always say that he was kind of like the blueprint for this podcast. His name was Ben Hall, and people hear me talk about him all the time. But one of the things he said, and I actually posted it the other day on Facebook, and I just said one of the things he used to preach to me all the time is you can't be normal and great at the same time. And it's just like, man, when you have this vision, people are not going to understand what you're trying to do, what you're trying to build. And like you said, sometimes it's like you almost got to be crazy because of the things that you're trying to do. And it's like, even if you go look at professional athletes, like people might look at Tom Brady, like he's so driven at what he's doing. Like, man, this guy's crazy. He's still playing. But the level of greatness that these athletes display is like they got to be committed to. And it's like, man,
that's all they know.
Yeah, it's all they know.
That's all they know. And that's the thing. Like, for me, the only thing, bro, I'm gonna be like, the only thing that I watch, and I've done this for like the last 3 months, bro. Anytime I turn the TV on, I turn it on one thing, and that's the Last Dance with Michael Jordan. I've watched that series.
Oh man, I watched
1,000 times, right? And I literally,
it was insane.
Turn it on every day, right? And it's every time I turn it on, I fall asleep watching it. But the reason that I do that, it has nothing to do with the feeling that I have toward Michael Jordan, right? Or idolizing him when I was a kid. That was, the favorite player.
That was the guy,
greatest.
yeah.
He was the GOAT, right? That type of deal. It had everything to do with his mentality and why he was that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is the core of Michael Jordan and why he is who he is? He wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the fastest. He didn't jump the highest. He wasn't the strongest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He wasn't the tallest. And so, but he was a dog.
His will to win.
And he said something. He said something to in the show, and I say to me because I be thinking like we having a conversation when I do that joint. But like, he said something in the show, and it was like, bro, he said, I don't have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem, right? So what that means to me is that his ability to compete at anything is what drives him, right? So as an athlete, you think about it. You always talk about the killer instinct, right? People that had that killer instinct.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And my uncle used to tell me when I was young, he used to tell me all the time, kill an ant with a sledgehammer, right? I was like, oh, you tripping. You talk to your old head. You like, you drunk, man? Like, what's going on? Like, what you talking about? And so as I got older, again, it's a lot of things that stuck with me that now I understand, right? And so he say, kill an ant with a sledgehammer, right? So when I heard that, and now I'm listening to Jordan and the way that he speaks, right? You remember the part where he was talking about B.J. Armstrong when he made that shot and they won that game?
Yeah,
right?
jump. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He was talking jump. He was like, bro, I'm supposed to kill this dude. You know what I'm saying?
And came back.
I'm supposed to kill this dude. Like, that's not even a thing. I'm supposed to kill this dude, right? In the killer instinct, it shows you that no matter what, it has nothing to do with nobody else. It's all about me. I didn't kill him because I chose not to kill him. I can't do that. I can't take my foot off the gas. I got to let you know I got to kill him with a sledgehammer. I'm going to let you know that you don't belong on the court with me. I'm going to let you know that you don't stand a chance. I don't care who you are. This is my space. And the same thing I tell them in the smoothie space. It ain't got nothing to do with whoever in this space. It ain't got nothing to do with them. This is personal, right? You better you play for a second.
Do you ever feel like sometimes you may, I don't want to say level of guilt, but it's like you so committed to what you're doing that sometimes you could kind of like leave, it kind of at times I guess leave things behind, or like you want to do other things, but you're so committed to what you're doing and you're so committed to the process that at times when you want to do other things that you so focused on what you want to do, that your task at hand, did you kind of like leave those things aside for a time, or do you ever feel kind of like guilt for that? Because I know like we're talking about athletes, they so committed to what they're doing. Sometimes like when they miss recitals, they miss birthday parties and birthdays and all that type of stuff like that. So do you ever? Because I know at times I do as well. It's like when we're traveling so much and doing this, my babies are looking for me. Sometimes they just want to see daddy, but I'm like, man, they don't see it right now. But in the long run, it's gonna be worth it for them. Right. And of course, I'm gonna definitely bring them along with me. But they're so young, they're still young right now. But I brought my son with me a couple of times. But it's like, do you ever feel that guilt at times? Because you grinding so hard that sometimes you may feel like you're too laser focused.
Well, I think for me, one of the things that I have, because I've always had, like in my marriage, there's been different things where it's like, you're not this, you're not that, and I made those adjustments, right? And so I think the thing is that within any business or within anything that someone is striving for, I think the most important thing is to have the family involved. Right, in whatever type of way, you know what I'm saying? But also my philosophy on things is that, when people talk about having 8 streams of income or 7 streams of income to be a millionaire, right? Well, I don't necessarily believe in that, but I don't believe in the way that people are saying it, right? So I look at it like this. I look at it from an octopus standpoint. You know what I'm saying? Where octopus got 8 arms, right? but every arm that goes out in every direction comes back to feed that body, right? So they always say you keep the main thing, you know what I'm saying? So like we make smoothies, we're a smoothie company, right? But I also got blenders. That's a whole nother arm.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I got recipe books. That's a whole nother arm. You know what I mean? I'm finna get into hookah flavors. That's a whole nother arm, right? But at the same time, it brings everything back home. It's under the same brand. It's under the same umbrella, but it's a different stream of income. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I think that one of the things that we have to do is we got to understand and make sure that we make the main thing, and continually keep your foot on the gas so that we can keep everything going in the way that we need it to go, so that now when your family come up, hey, let's teach them how to do this, right? My son, when he in town, he work in the store with me. My daughters, they got their own blenders. They make smoothies at home. You know, they know daddy makes smoothies. They know that. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that, you know, in the midst of that, like I do all the events at their schools. You know, I'm at their games. Like I'm either their coach or I'm gonna have a truck at their games. Right? So we're gonna be, our presence is gonna be there all the time. And so even in the space of being an entrepreneur, yeah, one, you got to take every opportunity you can because the play don't care who make it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But at the same time, I try my best to be able to be in position to where if there is a recital, if there is an appointment, if there is something like that, that either I can be involved or I can be the one to take them there. Because like for me, I take my girls to school every morning. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. Like I'm gonna take you to school. That's my thing. You know, and that's gonna always be my thing.
That was one of the things that bothered me at first when, you know, before I kind of transitioned from working 2 jobs. It's like I was just working to pay bills, and that actually bothered me one day. I was like, man, my baby girl's getting ready to go to kindergarten. This was about 2-3 years ago, getting ready to go to school for the first day, and it's just like, man, I can't even take her to school because, you know, this happened, man. So that's what kind of made me kind of like, you know what, let me do my transition from, you know, giving them all my time to, you know, doing my own thing. So I want to ask you about your transition. When you were selling cars to doing smoothie, were you doing both at the same time, or did you just quit and did you go all in on the smoothie?
What I did was I got my last check, and I knew I was gonna quit. I was prepping for this, right? I told myself this was my last month before the month started. You know, and I set a goal, and like I said, I was reading the book The Alchemist. I was working on my plans, I was coming up with my concept and ideas, and I told myself this is my last month, and I said I'm gonna sell 1 car every day, right? That was my goal. So 1 car every day. I did that up until the 16th day of the month. You know what I'm saying? And then the next day I ended up selling 2. You know, and so like I ended up selling like 22.5 cars that month. You know, and I knew that was my last month. And so after that, you get your check like 10 days later. You know, so I worked them little extra days. And after that, I was gone. I quit. You know, and I remember this like it was yesterday. I had $12,883 on my check. I paid all my bills up for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? That was the first thing I did. After that, I had $2,000 left over. You know, and I used that to start my company.
That's big.
Yep.
So when was it for you that you realized, okay, I'm all in on the smoothies, and then people started supporting? Like, when was that moment for you feel like, okay, now I'm on to something with my business? Like, it's really picking up.
It was really initially, you know, initially it was like I was in the gym. And so you imagine coming in the gym, and everybody that walked in the gym I was speaking to. It had got to the point where they thought I ran the gym, not the juice bar. They thought I ran the gym. You know, I'm speaking to everybody. People coming up to me asking questions about their account. I'm like, bro, I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, I have no idea. Like, I just own a juice bar. You know, and so.
Oh, so you were selling smoothies at the gym?
Yeah, I was inside of the gym.
Okay.
I had a little kiosk inside the gym.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I started. And so it was like, I can't help you with your account. Like, I just sell the smoothies. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know that about. But that's the type of impact that I had in the gym. So when I started doing that and having that going, people start showing up and you know, people start looking for me. You know, and that was the thing. I'm like, dang, I got something, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was making $300-400 a day in the gym by myself from 8 to 9 every day. You know, just like purely hustling. And then so I opened up another gym in Columbus, Georgia. I was in Auburn. I opened up in Columbus, Georgia. Okay. Which is, the time is an hour ahead and it's an hour away, right? I ain't had no systems. I ain't had no processes. I ain't had no procedures. I was strictly hustling, bro. Like, and then I had it to where if I opened up in Columbus, I would close in Auburn. Or if I closed in Auburn, I would. If I closed in Columbus, I would open up in Auburn. You know what I'm saying? So if I was not at one of the places and something happened, it just had to happen. Like, there's nothing I could do to fix it. Right. Just had to fix it when I come back down. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so that just got real stressful, bro. And like I said, I ain't had no systems. I was purely hustling, and it got to the point where I was like, bro, I can't do this no more. You know, and so I shut the store down in Columbus because I lived in Auburn, and I was like, I'm gonna just focus all my energy in Auburn. And the very next week, I met the guy that is responsible to bring people on campus at the university.
So since you graduated from Tuskegee, was that kind of like your connection to, do smoothies at the university as well? Or
Nah, it had nothing to do with nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, so my connection at Tuskegee was just strictly because, like, I threw all the parties. Like, I pledged Kappa, I played football. Like, I was that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was always hustling. Like, I knew everything about everything. I knew what office to go to. I call everybody auntie and uncle. And, I can get anything done I need to get done on campus. You know what I'm saying? But when it came to Auburn, like, they two separate ball games.
Oh, okay. I saw, speaking of competition, I saw on 85 South when you were talking about the business was so successful that it got shut down, that you shut down Smoothie King and then another smoothie business as well.
Yes, Fresh and then Tropical Smoothie.
Right. And then you said you started being audited and everything. Can you talk a little bit about that process of like how being successful like that and then, shutting down these major corporations and then they kind of like giving you a little bit of pushback?
So at the time, I didn't really know what it was. Like, my thing was I was an athlete, bro. I'm just going to outwork everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my thing. Like, I'm going to work harder than everybody else. At the end of the day, I'm going to get the best results. Period. That was the only thing I knew. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing was, like, I used to ride down the street. It was a main street. It was called College Street. It was a main street where all the businesses was on. And I used to drive past that street to get to go to work. And so on that street, you would see, like, McDonald's, Walmart, Burger King, all these different stores. And this is even before I opened up my store. And I was like, bro, like, all businesses start the same way. You know what I'm saying? It took somebody with some guts and some nuts that said, look, I'm finna do this jump. I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Irregardless of what business it is, it's all started the same way. You know what I'm saying? And so then I was like, okay, cool. I'm looking at Walmart and I'm like, bro, you line me and Sam Walton up side by side, I outwork that boy every day of the week. You know what I'm saying? I start doing that with every business across the board. I'm like, bro, why am I not in business? You know what I mean? Right. Like, what am I doing there? And so once I started mine, I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna outwork everybody. One of my cheat codes, bro, was that I used to do third shift at the hospital.
Okay.
Like, nobody's up. There's no competition. There's no healthy option at all during that time, right? And then on top of that, the third shift make more money than everybody else.
Yep, it's true.
And I don't even have to worry about competing or doing anything with anybody. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where I made 20% of my money at on third shift when everybody was asleep. So that was the effect that happened. And so for me, as I kept doing that, it's like, bro, I only want this. You know what I'm saying? I only want this. I don't want the other stuff. I want this.
So when you were kind of forced to, I think you said you lost maybe like $175,000.
Yeah, cash.
Like, what was that process like of being hit with that, losing that type of money while you in your business right now? Like what was your mindset when that happened?
Bro, my mindset when it happened, when I found it out, I was actually headed to Florida. Like, I had my truck was already shipped down there. My all of the stuff was already gone. We was going down there for this big football tournament, and so what I did was, I had got all my money out. I had went to the bank, grabbed some cash out to travel with, and then right before I left, I remember like it was yesterday. It was my two guys that we was driving to Florida in their car, and as I was walking outside to get in the car, I was like, let me check my account and make sure I need to move some money around, just in case they need some money while we're gone at the store. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as I opened up my account, I seen that $59,000 negative. Like, I was like, whoa.
I would have had a heart attack.
Well, I logged out. You know how you log out on an iPhone and swipe it up and close the app out? Like, I did all that.
Yeah.
Oh, let me log back in this thing. Boy, am I tripping?
Make sure this.
So I logged back in. I was like, whoa. So I screenshot it. I'm like, bro, what is this, bro? You know what I'm saying? And then so I called the bank. You get on the phone trying to figure out what's going on. It was like, yeah, the state took it. Like, I mean, I don't know what you got. I don't know what's going on, but they came in and they got it, And I'm like, what? So mind you, I only got $2,000 in my pocket. And we headed, my truck already in Florida. You know what I'm saying? We headed to meet my truck. I can't put product on the truck because the truck not on. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't had no product in the truck. I had to take that $2,000 and we had to travel down there. I had to buy product and I had to function to operate while I was down there with $2,000, bro. You know what I'm saying? That was supposed to be like a $10,000 weekend. And so the first day we got down there, I bought enough product, right, with what I had. And I bought enough product with what I had. And then I was selling that day, right? It was a shorter day. And we almost sold out, right? So I'm like, all right, bet, it's going down. Let me double up for tomorrow. Like, mind you, I can only use cash because any credit card transactions going to the nigga.
Yeah, they going. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like throwing it in the trash. So I can only take cash, you know. And so when I did that, I doubled up the next day, right? Well, in Florida, bro, it was 32 degrees in Florida, and I sell smoothies. The day before it was 84. You know what I'm saying?
It's tough.
So I'm like, bro, like what in the world? So mind you, I'm not even thinking about the negative that I got right now. I'm thinking about the current moment and situation. And so one of my guys, we was like, hey, what we gonna do, bro? And we just sitting here looking crazy. You know, it's cold. Ain't nobody buying us food. You know, we had a little bit of food, but we wasn't even doing food like that. And I was like, bro, I gotta make a decision. I gotta make a game time decision. So I said, freak it. I said, bro, take this money that we made. I said, I want you to go to the store and buy everything hot. Hot chocolate, hot cups, hot this, everything. I want you to buy everything hot. Now, the only way that we had to make hot chocolate was a microwave in the truck. That's the only thing we had. I'm like, freak it. We're going to put this water in here. We're going to put that jug in the microwave. We're going to sell hot chocolate. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. But and we did that day, and then the next day it got back warm. But I didn't make anything close to what I was planning on making. But long story short, that was the moment that I felt, and I had to perform because I knew that God gives stronger soldiers in tougher situations, right? And so not only that, I also know that, like, if you believe in it, you're gonna always be good. You're gonna always see you through, right? So the first part of that was that He thinks that highly of me to give me this struggle, right? It's a blessing to struggle, right? So you think that highly of me, right? To give me this level of struggle, right? That means I must be somebody.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I must have I must have something in me, bro.
Right.
For you to give me that level of struggle. Because there's nobody I ever met in my life that has been through anything like that. You know what I'm saying? At that magnitude. You know, except people that are highly successful. So that means that I'm right on track. You know what I'm saying? And then the second part is, I know that I'm going to be straight. Right? I just got to figure out how to get through this. And that's when I wrote that 21-day thank you journal. Because I almost committed suicide doing this jump, bro. Like, I was at my lowest point because at the time, money defined me, right? The number in my account defined me, right? That was my level of acceptance. That was my everything. You know what I'm saying? That's how I identify myself. I didn't know anything. I didn't know who I was as a person, right? And so I used to call myself Mr. Untouchable, like Nicky Barnes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like Nicky. You know what I'm saying? That was my swag. Like, shoot, I'm like Nicky Barnes, you know? And then when all that happened, it was like I fell. The rug came from under you.
Just jerked the rug off.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like, you think about like the Get Out movie when Buddy was in the sunken place and he was just falling. He got nothing to hold on to him. And when he hit the ground, he just falling. Like, bro, that's how I felt. You know, that's exactly how I felt in that moment. And so, it forced me, like, at my lowest point, bro. Like, I didn't have anything left, bro. Like, I went to the title pawn place, title pawn my truck, just to do my payroll for my employees. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that people don't even know. But it was to me, it was like, I gotta take care of these people. Like, this is my responsibility. This is my business. This is on me, right? So let me figure it out. And so when I did that, and I'm getting phone call after phone call, I'm like, bro, like, I just, like, you owe this, you need this, you gotta pay this, where you at? I'm like, bro, I just went home. I was like, you know what? It's over with, bro. So I went home, I sat on my couch, right in front of my TV. I still remember this. Right in front of my TV. I sat on the couch, I had my pistol in my hand. I put my phone on the table right in front of me, face up. I said, that phone ring one more time, it's a wrap. Like, I can't handle it no more. It ring one more time, it's a wrap. And as I'm sitting there, looking at that phone, waiting on it to ring, I don't know how much time, it felt like it was days that I was sitting there. It could have been seconds, but it felt like forever. You know what I'm saying? That I was sitting there. But as I was sitting there, I started to think about, like, my mom had me 15, right? She was on the abortion table, got off the table and left, right, to have me. You know what I'm saying? Like, how would that impact my mom? You know, at the time my granddad was living, he was my biggest fan. You know, like, I was, hey, my grandson this, you know. I'm the oldest of 4. I got little brothers and cousins that look up to me, you know what I'm saying? And I'm the golden child to everybody. Like, if I can't do it, then I'm killing the whole generation off. Because they know they don't stand a chance. If I can't do it, if he can't do it, then shit, we don't stand a chance. You know what I'm saying? My little girl at the time, I only had one daughter at the time, like, she was going to have to walk in on this. My wife was going to have to clean this up. You know what I'm saying? This would devastate them, right? So when I thought about it, I was like, bro, I can't do this jump, bro. So I went and I got a notepad, and I wrote down every name that I felt like depended on me. You know what I'm saying? And that was the beginning of my journal. I got a journal over there. It's over there now. It's a 21-day thank you journal. And so what it did was it made me see the little things that I was doing right. Because what I realized at that moment, at that lowest moment in my life, bro, I didn't even see myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever version I thought I was, I didn't even see myself. So by me doing those small wins, like, hey, I woke up early today, right? The little stuff, the things that I'm thankful for, the greatest gratitude, right?
Mm-hmm.
That helped me to identify myself again. That helped me to see, like, bro, you really not that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was an outcast, because I was trying to do something that no one has ever done that I've ever seen in my life, right? It don't mean that you're going to get it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It don't mean you're going to get it right the second, third, fourth time. You know what I'm saying? But the more that you try and the more that you understand what you did wrong, it makes it that much better. It makes it that much sweeter. It makes it that much more of an impact that you have on people after you accomplish that.
And it's like God gives you these, like you said, God gives you these tough battles, and it's like, to me, I always feel like, you know, he's gonna give you things like, but I always say, I actually wrote a chapter about it in my book. It's like, God got you, like, you still here, like, the things we think about, we stress about, it's like, it's really not that bad because we're still here to talk about it.
Yep.
But it's like, I always feel like entrepreneurs, you know, we're gonna have these moments where it's like your back is against the wall, and we just talked about it when we were down in Miami. It's just like your back is against the wall, but it's like you're going to have a moment where you just got to fight.
Yeah.
And just, you're going to figure it out. It's just one way or the other, you just going to figure it out.
It go back to camp.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It go back to camp. It
Yep.
go back to the gauntlet drill. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It go back to inside. You know, it go back to warm up. It just goes back to, like, are you willing to go through this camp and survive this camp to be able to play this game?
Mm-hmm.
Right? At the end of the day, the practice is way harder than the game.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Practice is way harder than the game. Game is the easiest part of the whole process.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are you willing to go through that to get here? You know what I'm saying? And the same thing in life. Are you willing to go through the mud? Are you willing to go through, like, sleepless nights and all this type of stuff, all of these turmoil and everything? Are you willing to go through this to get on the other side?
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, you got to even realize that about, like, the most successful people that you see. They didn't just get there just by pop out of nowhere and just say, hey, I'm rich and I'm successful. It's like,
Right.
Everybody went through something to get to where they are. It's like, we just don't see that all the time on TV. It's just because even on social media, it's just like everybody just rich and successful.
Everybody winning. Yeah.
Everybody winning.
But you got to realize too, bro, like, and that's one thing that I'm real big about is I like to share my failures. You know what I'm saying? I like to share my failures because at the end of the day, nobody always wins, right? But even in my other book, I got a book called Go For It. In that book, it talk about the difference between a winner and someone who's winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a completely different person, right? Somebody can win. So you can luck up and win. They talk about any given Sunday, right? At any time, somebody can win. In a fight, any moment, somebody can get knocked out.
Yep.
Right? That doesn't make you a winner, right? That just means that you won just then, right? A winner is somebody like Tim Tebow. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Somebody that's
Know how to
going to
win.
always find a way to win, no matter what. I don't care if you like him. I don't care if you don't. Whatever the
Find
case
a way
may
to
be,
get it done.
he's going to find a way to win,
Yep.
one way or another. You know what I'm saying? That's a winner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so when people think about that, and you think about being a winner in life, whatever your goals are, whatever your expectations are, whatever your wants and desires are, like, bro, are you a winner? A winner knows another winner, right? And people idolize winners, right? People call them executors, whatever the case, whatever you want to call it. But a winner is a winner, and people are attracted to winners because they win. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
Let the
that's a
losers
fact.
lose. You know what I'm saying? Tip said that. I let the losers lose, bro. I ain't even worried about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I want to ask you something else about entrepreneurship. A lot of times entrepreneurs say, you know, they took an L or they failed at something, or, you know, even when they fail, it's just like, it's a lesson, honestly. But when you talk about failures, like, when would you say you actually know that you actually, like, failed at something?
Well, I think that my failure is when I quit. You know what I'm saying? I think that's when you fail at something. I think that, you know, when you stop doing something, when you stop believing, right, in yourself, when you stop believing in your ability, when you stop believing in, you know, your capabilities of creating or doing or even making the adjustments, right, throughout the process, I think that's when you lose. Because you don't lose during the process. You don't lose during the series, right? You don't lose there. You always got another chance to win. You know what I'm saying? You always got another chance at bat. But as soon as you get knocked down, bro, and you don't get back up, that's when you lose. You know what I'm saying? Or the second part of that is being able to do something someone else's way, right? I always feel like this. If I'm like with this story, I'm going to trust myself, right? I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust my abilities, my thoughts, my experience. I'm going to trust that, right? And go about it the way that I know that I need to go about it, right? Now, had I went about it the way someone else thinks I should go about it, you know what I'm saying, based on their feelings, right? Let's say it don't work. I lost twice, bro. I didn't learn nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I let somebody talk me into doing something that was their idea and not mine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that, I think that's the time when people actually lose, is when they stop.
Do you ever look back and think to yourself now, it's like, wow, man, I built a successful smoothie business, and I shut down a Smoothie King, and what was the other smoothie?
Freshens and Tropical Smoothie.
Do you ever look at those and say, man, I'm a black man, I did this, like I built this successful business, I shut down these other competitors. Do you ever look back and like, man, I really accomplished these things? Or not saying that you're satisfied with it and you dwell on it, but do you ever sit back and think sometimes like, man, I'm a black man, and I defied the odds, and I was able to compete with these major businesses?
Well, for me, it's not even a thing, because I don't even compete with them. You know what I'm saying? That's, like I said earlier, that's not even my competition. That's expected. You know what I'm saying? Like, I expect that. That's not something that's surprising me. It's just about, I got to figure out how to get there.
Right.
You know, I've already seen I'm going to be the largest smoothie company in the world, bro. I'm just waiting on time to catch up. You know what I'm saying? I've already seen it. You know, so it's not nothing that I feel like is like outlandish or crazy, or it's like, bro, you in my space. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to run a race and somebody in your lane. Like, bro, get out my lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to move that way. You got to get out my lane. You know, and so for me, it was like, I look at it from a standpoint is they don't care about me, right? And the other part of that is in every single industry, bro, in every industry there is, right? In every industry, the leader of every industry was once not in that industry. You know what I'm saying? The leader, right? The leader of every single industry was once not in that industry. You know what I'm saying? And so I remember Jay-Z did an interview, and he was talking about, like, he's like, bro, I'm not even worried about somebody that's shooting at me that's a big artist, or somebody that's trying to get me to bite back at them or anything. He's like, I'm not even thinking about them. I'm thinking about the person that's at home that's studying my weaknesses that I don't even know about. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody that's doing all these things that I don't even know is studying my joint. You know, why am I paying attention to somebody that's watching my every move and trying to duplicate what I do when I'm watching? I know there's somebody out there that's studying my weaknesses.
Absolutely. We have a few more questions, and we'll get ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
When you talk about, we talked about customer service and, you know, creating that culture. What kind of culture do you try to establish in your business, and what message do you try to preach to your employees?
So for me, I think my main thing is what I try to give to my employees, man, is just the ability to always be closing, right? Not only be closing, but always have a certain level of energy. You know what I'm saying? Always create customer service. Always be the reason why somebody wants to come back. You know what I mean? And so I always look at it from a family standpoint. Anybody that work with me, they gonna feel like family. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell people all the time, this is a team, right? I'm just a player coach. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get in here. They have to tell me all the time, like, bro, I got it, bro. Like, I got it, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am. Like, I'm a player coach. I'm gonna get in there. I'm not gonna let someone. Still, I'm not gonna let anybody outwork me, regardless of if you're supposed to or not. I'm gonna get the job done just as much as you will, you know. And so I always establish that role of, if, like, it doesn't matter if you feel like, you know, things are like this or things are like that. It's like, nah, like, I know for a fact that I can get this thing done with or without you, right? But I want to get it done with you because I want you to identify, and I want you to know that we can build this together, right? As a team, as a family, as a cohesive group, right? That no matter what our goals are, and I tell them all the time, like, use my brand to get you where you need to be, right?
Absolutely.
But just make sure you take care of my brand, and I'm going to help you get there.
And I feel like that's a perfect way, I always say, a perfect way for entrepreneurs. Like, even if you want to start your own business, like, take somebody like you and come under you and come under your wing and learn from you and let you teach them some ropes. So even if it's not a smoothie business, they can take some of the things they learn, because it's a lesson in everything.
Every single thing, bro.
So you can take some of the lessons that they learn and apply it to their business, especially like customer service.
Right.
That's every business.
Right.
You have to have customer service. If
That's
not,
the thing that I did, man. People don't know this either. It was a family that lived in, when I lived in Auburn, it was a black family that owned like 50 McDonald's in the area, right? Miss Dolly Marshall now. And then I had a friend of mine that owned a Chick-fil-A. So during the summertime, it was slower in the gym. I would give them 2 hours a day, right? 2 days a week. And I would go in there and work for free. You know what I'm saying? But I went in there and worked because I knew I needed to learn a system. right? I didn't know what I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I knew that McDonald's had the best system of any fast food restaurant, right? Where they had the highest turnover rate, but you never seen one close, right?
That's true.
You know what I mean? So they doing something right. You know what I'm saying? Which I learned when I did that jump. Like, I promise you, if you'd have seen me working at McDonald's, bro, it would remind you of coming to America, right? I was so happy mopping the floors, doing fries, and they like, bro, why is this dude so happy? You know what I'm saying? And I'm working for free. But I knew I was learning a system that I was going to be able to go back and implement in my system, right? And so what I learned from McDonald's was to simplify everything, right? Take the thinking out of everything for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows what a number one. That's why they got numbers. Their combos are numbers. On the screen, it's a number. You want a number one? All right, cool, number one.
Yep.
I don't have to think about it. You know what I'm saying? Even in the fries, they portion themselves. You don't have to know how many fries to put in the basket. It does it for you. You got to put it in there, push this button. It's going to tell you when it's time to come out. You don't have to think. You know what I'm saying?
Push a button.
Yeah, that's it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to think at all. So that's why they can take anybody and put them in the system. They just need a body. They don't need you to think. They just need a body. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when people talk about, like, McDonald's should pay more money, it's like, why? Why should they pay more money? You're not doing anything. Right? Yeah. That's why they're like, all right, cool, I'll get a robot to do this. Because we done already did all the thinking for you.
And we starting to move that way with a lot of stuff now.
No, we done did all the thinking for you. Robot ain't got to think. All they got to do is react. You hear this, do this. You know what I'm saying? When you see this, do that. That's it. And so that's the thing that I learned from McDonald's, but then from Chick-fil-A, what I also learned, like, people don't know this either, like, the number one employee that Chick-fil-A targets are homeschoolers. You know what I'm saying? They self-motivated, right? They don't have a whole lot of extracurricular things going on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They self-starters, they know how to learn, you know, all of that stuff. So that's their number one target employee, right? And so from there, I learned the customer service end. I learned why they say my pleasure. I learned why they do the things that they do. I learned how they get people out in a fast manner. You know what I'm saying? Quickly. You know, and that's the thing that I've learned from them. And so from those two, that's really one of the things that I've been able to duplicate and input in my system. And I'm still learning that. I'm still, you know, getting the bugs out of that joint as well.
And it's all about the learning process. Like for me, I remember I worked at a radio station, and I used to drive maybe like an hour every day just to go to work, making $10 an hour. So really, by the time I got a paycheck from them, either I was paying for gas. I barely broke even. Most of the time, I didn't even make enough. But it was those things about how they taught me how to do production and running the show behind the scenes and edit the audio and those different type of things. So when it was finally time for me to leave, I was like, you know what, man, I needed that.
Right. You just went to school. You paid for school. That's all you did.
So I took that, applied it to what I'm doing now. But I'm like, man, it's a lesson in every single thing that you do, man. And so you just gotta have that discipline and be willing to learn. Right. And just, you know, and like I always say, every opportunity doesn't come in the form of a paycheck. And what I was making, really, that was nothing. You just gotta really, even if you think you're worth more than that at the time, just take those lessons and just learn from it, and just keep on going. Yep. I know we got a few more. We got to get ready to wrap it up. So what advice would you have for entrepreneurs of any business? Like, what kind of advice would you give them?
Learn the why. Learn the why and everything. You know what I'm saying? Not the how. Everybody knows the how. Everybody can duplicate or change a how. But learn the why, right? So when I opened up my store in Walmart, I used to go to the manager and was like, hey, why y'all put these right here? They don't know. It just comes from corporate. You know what I'm saying? Corporate sent me this. Corporate did this. Well, why? I don't know. Nobody knows the why. The why is what makes you valuable. You know what I'm saying? Being able to forward think the why is what really makes you valuable. And then on top of that, you can incorporate the why into everything that you do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that one of the things that, like, really important for people is that you just got to understand that you're valuable. And once you understand and realize that you're valuable and who you are as a person is something special to this world and stand on that, that's when you'll go down your own lane.
I feel like you've already kind of, maybe in a sense, maybe you feel like this, seen the worst. Like you had all this money, your account goes into the negative. You got all these things going on. You think about committing suicide, and you still stay resilient and you bounce back from it. Do you still have any other fears today?
My only fear is dying early, right? And dying with all of this inside of me. You know, and I think that one of the things that I push myself to do now is, like, I don't sleep when I'm tired. I sleep when I'm done. You know what I'm saying? And so like every day, my goal is to empty the tank. Like I want to empty the tank every single day. I want to give every day my all. You know what I'm saying? So if I die that day, I'm good with giving it everything I have. You know what I'm saying? I empty my tank. You know, and so like for me, at any moment, I work so hard and so diligently on being a better version of myself. You know what I'm saying? As a man, as a husband, as a father, as a brother, as a son. Like I work so hard on being a better version of myself that no matter what happens, I'm always satisfied with the results that I produce. Because I'm just trying to be a good human.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I ain't trying to freak nobody over. I just want to be a great human, right? And so from there, it helps me to not have the fear. You know, it's not to not have the fear of, because like now, I won't lose everything again. I done that before. I know what that feel like. I'm never going back to that place again, right? I've experienced it. I've learned from it. I've dealt with it, but I'm never going back to that place again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so for me, I think that the biggest thing is to operate in fearlessness. You know what I'm saying? Because I know my ability. I know what I'm capable. I just showed it to the world. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I showed it to the world. Like, bro, like all this stuff that's in the store was in storage for 3 years. I knew I was gonna do this again. You know what I'm saying?
You already had it.
I already knew. I've seen it. I've told you, I've seen it already. You know, so it just takes it takes me. And then the biggest thing is that this has nothing to do with me, right? This brand, this business, this company has nothing to do with me at all, right? It's way bigger than me. You know, am I going to be successful and see the fruits of my labor? Yeah, because I'm obedient, right? I'm consistent with doing what I was called to do. But it has absolutely nothing to do with me personally, right? And when I tell people that, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, my obedience is tied to so many other people, right? Think about this interview right now. If I had stopped and not been doing what I'm doing, we wouldn't be sitting here at this moment.
That's a fact. Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Think about the people that's in here. Think about the people that's around, people that's going to come today for this event. Had I stopped then, these people would have never even been here.
And it's everything that you're saying is all coming back full circle, because we talk about these things so much on the podcast. It's like we always say, it's not about us; it's for a higher purpose. And when you using your gift, it's like you bring so many people in. They come together. Like just a few months back when I had my book signing, when I released my book, I had people come, family and friends come. Some of my buddies I haven't seen in college. I graduated in 2014 from USC Upstate. And that was the first time all of us were in the same room together in 7 years. So to see something that I had a vision for that I created with my book, to bring everybody back together. And even the podcast, like you were saying, like what you were doing and what I'm doing, like if we're not doing what we do, this moment doesn't even happen.
It don't even happen. Right. Yeah, it don't even happen. And think about the people that's going to be impacted by this podcast.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I have people all the time even tell me now, like, hey man, like some of them I don't even know. It's like, man, I love what you're doing, man. You inspire me to go after my dreams. One of the most profound moments for me recently was, it almost made me cry, man, was the day after my book signing, and I got a chance to speak. I did my book signing. I got up there and spoke, man, and I got emotional. And I remember the next day, my aunt texted me early that morning, maybe like 7, 8 in the morning. She's like, man, nephew, I love you. I'm so proud of you. And she was just like, you inspire me to go after my goals. Man. And to know that something like that, when my aunt texts me early in the morning like that, to know that I inspire her to go after what she want to do. And now she's creative, because she does a lot of like handcrafting and doing things with cups and decorations, anything like that you need, she can do it. And for her to tell me that I inspire her, man, that meant the world to me, to know that, like, man, something that I had a vision for and that I was creating. Yeah, it's all bigger than you, and you don't know who that person is or when that moment is going to happen, but man, it's like somebody's going to need to see that, and it inspires them to keep going and do what they want to do.
Hands down. I think that the more that we identify the fact that it's bigger than us, again, it gets rid of the ego.
Absolutely.
Right? Has nothing to do with us, you know. And I tell people all the time, like, bro, I'm gonna live forever. And when I tell people that, they're like, bro, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, bro, I'm gonna live forever, right? And I give people the example. Like, you think about Mansa Musa. There is nobody that knows anybody that has ever seen this man. Right? There's nobody that you know, there's nobody that I know that I've ever heard of knowing that has ever lived to be able to see this man in person. Nobody. But we still talk about him to this day.
Still lives.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Jackson. Like, this man, music, the things that he did and accomplished will live forever.
Forever.
You know what I'm saying?
To this day,
To this
people
day,
still.
the impact that this man created will live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the type of impact I'm trying to make.
Absolutely. My final 2 questions, and we'll wrap it up. If you had to lay out a blueprint for building a business, any type of business you want, but if you had to lay out a blueprint, what would you say would be your blueprint for building a business?
The first is to understand the market, right? Understand whatever business you're trying to go in. And the second part of that is doing it small. You know what I'm saying? Do it small. Do it real small. And start with whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of problem is, especially with like the food truck industry, I teach people how to get in the food truck game, right? And in the food truck industry, a lot of people, what they do is they go into it and they want to buy the food truck, they want to do this, they want to do that, but they don't even know what they're selling. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Then I ask them, like, what you selling? Oh, well, I'm thinking about this. Okay, cool. Well, what is the, then I ask them, like, what is your menu, right? Oh, well, I'm going to sell this. Well, how much does that cost you? Oh, well, it only cost me this to buy the whole thing. Well, how much does it cost you per thing, right? Well, I mean, you don't even know. Mm-hmm. So you want to jump into this whole thing. You've never sold your product. You never put your product in anybody's hand. You don't even know if people are going to buy your product. You think because you're good at baking cookies that people are going to buy your cookies. Right. Mm-hmm. Your cookies good to you, right? Yeah. So what I tell people is that start with what you have, right? Sell it to the people that's around you. Give it away. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm a big believer in giving your product away. If it's good, it's going to double back. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's one of the things that I always tell everybody. Start small. Start with what you have and then build from there, because you build endurance along the way. You don't create endurance, right? You don't start with endurance. You don't come out the gate with endurance, right? That's just like somebody running a marathon or a mile. Like you're not gonna be a marathon runner by just starting to run. Like you have to build that endurance up in your body to be able to get to the point every day and do this thing. You know what I'm saying? Yep.
Go ahead. I was gonna say my final question. I know we got to get ready to wrap it up. We got a soft opening getting ready to happen in just a few moments. But this is the Cross the Line Podcast 2021 self-investment tool. So we love to ask all entrepreneurs and anybody that comes on, what does self-investment mean to you?
Self-investment means, to me, I think it means to like find a way to make yourself better internally, right? Mm-hmm. Knowledge, things that no one can take from you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Don't invest in clothes and things like that. Invest in something that no one can take from you. Mm-hmm. You know, the intangible things. You know, your knowledge, your information, your experiences. Invest in those things. So I think that's one of the things that's most important to me, are things that no one can take from you.
Absolutely. Well, Keon, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with us today, man. I really enjoyed it, hearing your story. Like I said, I did a little bit of research, but I wanted to wait until hear everything once we got here. So, man, I really appreciate it, man. It was definitely worth the opportunity. Go ahead and talk about some of your products as well.
We got our blenders here. This is our personal blender. It's called a Groove and Go blender. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can take it on the go with you. Whenever you're making protein, you making drinks at home. A lot of people don't like making smoothies at home. They don't want to drink them right then, right? They want to drink when they get to work. But you got to blend them at home because you're blender at home. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So with this, you can fill it up, do whatever, put whatever you want to put in it, and then you can blend it when you get to the spot. You know, so that's one of those. My recipe book, the Making Smoothie Magic 2.0. It's a lot of our recipes. It's a lot of things that we did that we actually do in here. We also got hats and. I got my personal books. I got straws. I got anything that it takes to make a smoothie or anything that you need in the smoothie industry. I'm on my name on it, right? So we got frozen fruit packages coming up. We got our cold pressed juices coming out. Like anything that you can think of, we gonna do.
Absolutely. I was watching this last night on when you were on 85 South, and Chico was talking about the blend. I was like, man, it is dope.
Oh, yeah,
have like
strong.
a little mini blender that you can take on the go with you. But man, I love everything that you're doing, man. This is inspiring. You know, see somebody, like I always say, it's one thing to see entrepreneurs, but when you see somebody that looks like us doing something, it's a game changer, because then it makes it really feel like, man, I can do something like this. But when you see somebody that does it, you might feel like you can do it, but it's just like, man, it may seem like it's a long shot because they don't come from the same background. Right? Yeah, exactly. But to see somebody like you building this, man, and where you were to where you are now, and everything that you went through, man, I know a lot of people are gonna really appreciate the story, man. I enjoyed it. But I want to thank you again for taking the time to sit
Man,
with
I
us.
appreciate that.
Oh,
Appreciate
absolutely.
that. Appreciate
So I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. We got to get ready for the soft opening that's getting ready to take place. So until next, before we get out here, tell everyone how to find you.
Yeah, most definitely. You can find me at all social platforms at SmoothnGroove. That's smooth, the letter N, groove. You can also text me at 404-737-1135. And anything you need, any questions you have, any concern, anything that you can think of, let me know. I got you.
Absolutely. So we hope everyone enjoyed this episode of the Cross the Line Podcast Self-Investment Tour. So until next time, keep chasing your dreams. This is the Cross the Line Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Let's get it. Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, look, it's Keon Davis. And look, it's the best smoothies in the world, but you would Cross the Line Podcast right now. Let's go.